Hi, I'm Matt Bailey, and these are your weekend notes for August 8th, 2020. Our top story this week, Spotify CEO Daniel Ek sparked controversy in the music industry with comments made during an interview with the online publication Music Alley. In defending artists' ability to live off of streaming income, Ek said, quote, "There is a narrative fallacy here, combined with the fact that obviously some artists that used to do well in the past may not do well in this future landscape where you can't record music once every 3 to 4 years and think that's going to be enough." He added, "I feel really that the ones that aren't doing well in streaming are predominantly people who want to release music the way it used to be released." Artists and fans alike swiftly pounced on Ek, the co-founder of Spotify, who is worth over $4 billion. Music video director Mike Mills tweeted this: "Music equals product and must be churned out regularly," says billionaire Daniel Ek. Mills then added an expletive to drive home his point. Singer-songwriter David Crosby said the quiet part out loud when he called Ek a, quote, "obnoxious, greedy little turd," only he didn't say turd. While Dee Snider of Twisted Sister broke the economics down for fans. While you, the listener, benefit and enjoy Spotify, it's part of what's killing a major income stream for artists and creators. The amount of artists, quote-unquote, rich enough to withstand this loss are about 0.0001%. Daniel Ek's solution is for us to write and record more on our own dime. He also told Ek to go and do something not so nice to himself. It seems the debate over the treatment of artists by streaming services is finally coming to a head. Like so many things in media, it seems over this pandemic and protests, there's just a reckoning. And this is happening in the streaming industry by the founder of a streaming giant, no less. Ek's ignorant comments reveal what artists have known for years. The only thing streaming platforms care about is lining their own pockets and not the pockets of the singers, songwriters, and people behind the scenes who bleed for their music. Here to discuss is MusicUniverse.com founder Buddy Yan. Now, Buddy, this had you pissed. These comments seem to have revealed the streaming industry's complete ignorance about the business of music. That is, how records are actually created and how artists need to live off of their body of recorded work, not just touring revenue, and especially not touring revenue in a pandemic. What do you make of this?
I think it's complete utter bullshit. I'm just going to put that out there. He is, just trying to line his own pockets, really. I'm an artist first. I've said it on our podcast, on the website many times. And to try to tell me, that I would need to create more for you to make more money sounds pretty shoddy to me, It's shady practices. He really only cares about lining his own pockets. He doesn't care about the artists. He's ripping them off, in my opinion.
So what he said is, you're exactly right. It's about him making money for himself, but he tried to make it sound like it was about the artists. My model needs you to create constantly and as often as you can. And that just sounded so ignorant, which made his comments all the more egregious. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not one for streaming. I like to own my music. But I do like to put my favorite songs on my phone and listen to them, but it's just been getting too full, so I did cut that aspect out. And I did download Spotify for like a week, and I instantly deleted it and canceled my subscription upon hearing this. It's just definitely ignorance. To say that if they churn out more music, they'll make more money is just absurd, because that's not going to happen with his so-called model, because he pays them extremely little profit from it. You've got to be the copyright holder in order to gain the most profit from this, and that 95% of the time is the labels, unless the artists have made an agreement with the labels where they basically own the copyrights and license it to them for distribution and marketing purposes. But for the most part, these artists that are complaining about this were in a different type of state of business at the time that they signed their contracts, and that wasn't even an option or even thought of at that point. The labels 100% control all of that, and most of that music is older music, and even if it's not, it doesn't mean that they have that type of contract either. And it's just complete ignorance and pitifulness on his part to think that if they churn out more music and they release something regularly, that they're going to make more money off this. I mean, the copyright holders tend to make about 70% from what I'm hearing of the profits from Spotify, but that could be wrong.
Is that how the industry came to accept streaming? Because I know there was pushback, particularly from artists, because as our good buddy Garth Brooks puts it, it's used to be artist first in the album decade in the 90s. Now it's artist last with his, hand flip that he does. With this, do you think the studios were good for it because they saw they could get that 70% of all their artists all at once from that revenue? How did this become the model? How did we get here where the corporations get the money and the artists are scrounging for scraps?
I wish I had an answer to that, but your guess is probably about as good as mine on this, and I'm just going to say it's demand. As CDs started to kind of die off. Now, vinyl's still a very popular thing, and it's made a huge comeback, so I'm not sure why people are choosing that over CDs other than their warmthness and they're kind of, cool. But CDs replaced vinyl, in the 80s and became the number one source of, music consumption. And then Napster came about in 2000, and it kind of started to wipe that away a little bit as people were able to realize, hey, I can get one song, I can get my favorite songs at my fingertips, and I don't have to pay for it. Well, as Metallica sued Napster, and that became what it was, a part of music history. Somehow streaming came into play in there as digital downloads started to kind of wipe out, with Walmart had its own store at 88 cents at one point. They diminished that at some point in the last 10, 15 years. And then, iTunes came about. Somewhere in there, I guess, this thing called streaming happened to be like, oh, wait, let's just go this route. And now that's the most popular way. I mean, I think Spotify has over 170 million active users a month. So they just re-upped with Universal Music. So something in there, they're giving them some reason to say, hey, go with us and we're going to pay you. And then it's up to the labels to determine what the artists get, I guess, based on their contracts and revenue.
Well, I'm still a streaming holdout. I don't have Apple Music. I don't have Spotify. If I want music, I buy it and I own it. That way, coming from New York like I do, I can listen to it on the train. I can listen to it whether I have data or I don't. So who knows? Daniel Ek may be canceled. I don't know. I always thought streaming was an unsustainable model and that the villainous, greedy people would eventually reveal themselves, and I think we're starting to see that here. Buddy, thank you so much. Let's go right now to your notable releases.
Love 'em or hate 'em, Nickelback is releasing a 15th anniversary of its Diamond Platinum selling All the Right Reasons album on Deluxe and Remastered Edition, 2 CD set on October 2nd. The collection features a newly remastered version of the original 2005 album, a selection of B-sides, and a 2006 live concert recording from their Sturgis Bike Rally performance that was previously released on DVD. R&B pop star Toni Braxton has announced that her 10th studio album, Spell My Name, will be released on August 28th via Island Records. The project features the energetic and empowering anthem Dance and Do It. The album is the follow-up to her multi-Grammy-nominated 2018 album, Sex and Cigarettes. Guns N' Roses' Greatest Hits is coming to vinyl for the first time ever on September 25th. The Best Of collection will be available as a double LP set on 180-gram black vinyl, a 2 LP set on silver-colored vinyl with red and white splatter, plus a 2 LP picture disc that'll be available exclusively through the band's web store. The vinyl edition will also feature the band's Shadow of Your Love that made its debut on the 2018 Appetite for Destruction box set and was recorded in 1986. Before the Doobie Brothers are inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame later this year, Rhino will release a Blu-ray audio box set on September 4th that highlights some of the music that helped make them one of the most popular bands of its generation. The Doobie Brothers Quadio will feature quadraphonic mixes of Toulouse Street, The Captain and Me, What Were Once Vices Are Now Habits, and Stampede. The 4 Blu-ray audio discs come in replicas of the original vinyl record sleeves and are all packaged together in a clamshell box. Both quadraphonic and high-resolution stereo mixes will be available for each album. Chubby Checker's celebrating the Twist 60th anniversary this year with a few new projects. ABKCO will release a remastered edition of Twist with Chubby Checker on vinyl on September 25th. A special 45 RPM 7-inch vinyl of the Twist with 2 B-sides will also be available, along with the physical editions of the new definitive Dance and Party The Chubby Checker Collection 1960 to 1966 on both CD and LP. Checker will also be featured on 2 Cameo Parkway compilations due that same day. I'm Buddy Yan, and those are your notable releases for Weekend Notes, powered by themusicuniverse.com.
Speaking of Spotify, award-winning duo Maddie and Tay are teaming up with viral pop trio Avenue Beat for a pair of Spotify singles, including a fresh take on the Harry Styles hit Watermelon Sugar and Maddie and Tay's Everywhere I'm Going off the duo's current album, The Way It Feels. The Who are set to celebrate some of their most memorable concerts with never-before-seen footage. The weekly YouTube series, entitled Join Together at Home, on the band's official YouTube channel starts tonight, Saturday, August 8th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Each featurette, available digitally for the first time, will stream live as a YouTube premiere. The event will culminate with the stream of a previously unreleased show. Taylor Swift's spectacular run last week continued into this week. Folklore, her 5-star album, debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 chart this week, and her single Cardigan lands at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, making her the only artist in history to simultaneously debut at #1 on the Billboard 200 and the Billboard Hot 100 charts. Tom Petty's estate has released another demo from the Wildflowers session called There Goes Angela, Dream Away. The demo is part of the long-anticipated release of Wildflowers, All the Rest. Lady Gaga has launched a talk show on Apple Music. Now, every Friday on her brand new show, Gaga Radio, she honors the larger-than-life genre of dance music by speaking with the DJs, divas, and producers who inspired and helped her bring her dance album Chromatica to life. And each episode will include an exclusive DJ mix from one of Gaga's guests. Sammy Hagar is hitting the stage for the first time since the pandemic. Low Pen charity events and the Mawaka Foundation have announced Rockin' for the Kids to take place on Friday, September 18th at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hagar will headline the event with a special performance to raise funds for children and their families fighting cancer in Northeast Ohio, as well as raising funds for Music Cares and local food banks. The drive has raised over $3 million in the past 18 years. Only a select number of tickets will be sold this year. The event will be produced outdoors and follow all COVID-19 guidelines. And finally, a legend in country music is going viral on a platform for Gen Zers. As we brought you last week, country music icon Randy Travis released Fool's Love Affair, a 35-year-old recording that was never heard before. The song quickly reached over 1 million streams on digital platform. This week, the music legend joined the viral app TikTok and achieved 4 million views on his first video in less than 2 days. I absolutely love that. Way to go, Randy. It is so cool to see traditional country music reach a whole new audience. Those are your weekend notes. Remember, you can always check out themusicuniverse.com for the latest in music news, reviews, and exclusives. Our guest this week on the Music Universe podcast is Lucas Hogue. Now, we will be taking next week off, but we will be back August 22nd with more of music's biggest headlines here on Weekend Notes. However, you can get your Matt and Buddy fix for next week on next week's TMU podcast episode with 90s country superstar Tracy Lawrence. That drops August 14th. I'm Matt Bailey. Stay safe, have a great weekend, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.